Hey adventurers, and welcome to another video from the Steve Adventure Academy. And today we're going to be talking about everyday carry. Now if you follow this channel at all, or if this is new to you, everyday carry means, or EDC is everyday carry. It's not once a week, it's not what have you. And this is where the struggle is. Because as we evolve as human beings, things change. And our needs change, our situations change, and so there are opportunities for growth and change. But every day means every day. So how do you address that? Well, I think that what's happened is my everyday carry has shrunk, because when you get spectacular gifts or acquire spectacular pieces, there is a need to evolve or change by necessity. And so what's on the everyday carry? Well, I've really been struggling in that area, and so I'm going to try and do a shorter video talking about that. So things that should be in everyone's everyday carry, well, I think a strop with a multi-tool on the end is probably one of those things that you all should have in your everyday carry. I like being able to measure things, and of course Bison does a great job of holding your pants up. No plumbers here, but places where you could struggle. Well, I struggle in this area. My modded out mini tack. This is just a great piece of steel. How do you not carry this every day? Well, it isn't foldable, so that kind of makes it more difficult to carry. Still possible, but more difficult. And so it hasn't made the everyday carry. Something that has previously made the everyday carry is the survival modded Zippo. You should check the video out in our collection of videos dealing with the survival modded Zippo. This is a spectacular piece. I really love carrying it. But one of the reasons I love to carry a Zippo is the sound it makes. Now, survival modded, you need to squeeze it up a little bit out of the sleeve. There's that sound. Love it. How can you not love an out of fuel Zippo? It still makes a sound. So fun in your pocket. But it runs out of fuel about every 2.5 weeks with the slip and sleeve and all that other stuff that's been modded in this. Check out the video. You can make a Zippo very survival friendly. But here it is, and I'm really struggling. One of the reasons I'm struggling is that recently I've realized, because of our home situation and what's happened with my dad, I'm not going to go into that a lot, but he is definitely a hero in the community and an inspiration. One of the things that I've discovered in his things is he has a bunch of these little things. Wonderful things. Brand new, never used. Because they weren't part of his everyday carry. And I'm starting to think about, as I find these little tchotchkes, these little wonders, this is a floating lighter. You can drop it in the water and it floats itself. And of course it's sealed. Got the little flicky thing, which is actually really fun to play with. And very hard to run out of fuel because it's in a pressurized container that's sealed against the elements. Do I take my custom done Fisher custom leather scabbarded survival modded camouflage Zippo out of my pocket and lose the sound and the walk and talk and just that feel of the leather in your pocket for this? Maybe this is better. Maybe this is to this what flint and steel was to this. I don't know. Something to think about when it comes to your everyday carry. You're probably gonna be making these assessments. But if I can't leave this in a drawer somewhere for 20 more years like my dad did, no one's enjoying it. Maybe using this stuff and diminishing how much it makes the everyday carry and becomes a rotation. Maybe that's the natural evolution of everyday carry. Anyway, something to think about. Other things that don't make the cut usually are the smallest knife that Cold Steel makes. The Micro Recon. Micro Recon 1, of course, in the Tanto. This is a spectacular piece of steel. There it is, quite large. And there it is for perspective next to your hand. It's quite small, demure really, but it does all the work most people really need from a pocket knife. Maybe I should be carrying that. The Recon 1, the large Recon 1. Should have brought the extra large. Super hard to find now. Note to self and note to all of you, buy the knife you want, not the knife you can afford. Which sounds like bad advice, but once you get a certain amount of life experience showing, you'll see the wisdom in it. Other things that still make the cut. The survival modded flashlight. This is the i5 or i3. I don't remember. Let's look at it. Let's find out together. What does it say there? i5T. AA battery, rechargeable, with this little scabbard on it made out of a shotgun shell, of the hull of a shotgun shell. You can have your survival light with just the red showing, and you still can blind people with your flashlight. It's a great piece. I don't even like blue things. I hate blue anodizing. Truthfully, I've discovered that I really hate blue anodizing because, frankly, it's the low-hanging fruit. It's almost the easiest color to do at home, ghetto. And so, if it takes no effort, does it have any value? Well, this is a limited edition clip that I put on the limited edition green. So it makes it one-of-a-kind limited edition, sort of. There's every edition available now. And, of course, the survival mods make it better, at least for my uses. Things we're still carrying. Well, we're still carrying all kinds of things. These glasses, for instance. This is a great thing to carry. And yeah, I carry them every day. Used to be because I wanted to. Now it's because I need to. A couple of years have gone by, and let's face it, my ability to read a menu or to work on splinters in your fingers has not improved. Thank you, time. Not always your friend. Anyhow, they're making the cut. Something else that has to make the cut is, of course, the Bliss Me Jewelry one of one. This knife is one of one in every way that a knife can be one of one. The stonewashed blade with the polished faces and at top, as well as the zeroed out 12 degree on each side polished edge. The scales are hand carved in the Chavez theme, with telling even more of the Jesus crucified and risen Savior of the world story. The gold inlaid cross, the diamond eye inlay, come on, polished clip. It's got a street thumb stud instead of the standard thumb stud because it makes the slightly smaller thumb stud, gives you a little better flick. The walk and talk on this is beyond compare. And the back spacer, come on. The heads of the bolts are all polished to within the nth degree. There's really no piece in this that hasn't been modified with the exception of the stopper inside the body here. That's pretty well just been modified by time and too much flicking, but there's still lots of life in it. Every other piece has been changed, altered, and improved in some way. So that's going to make the cut. It's almost too nice to use. It's absolutely too nice to lose, and it's frankly irreplaceable. There's no way I could ever thank the people who gifted the knife and then did the work. There's no way I could thank them in this life or possibly in the next for that incredible creation. Something else that's made a change is this SOG tool. I swapped out my coins. I got a couple of really nice coins I like to carry, but this thing is super fun. Now it's got too many edges, and maybe it's dumb in some ways. I don't know, but it's really just a fun piece that I had interwoven into a paracord bracelet that I wasn't wearing anymore, and it just seemed like a waste not to carry it at all. It's got a pull-through sharpener and a bunch of other things you really wouldn't do with it, but it's cool. Oh, look, twins. Let's see if we can get the perspective. Forced perspective. Twins. Nice. Coming right for you. Anyhow, so something that's swapped in to your everyday carry that, you wouldn't have anticipated, but there it is. And finally, what do you do with your knife? Well, how many knives do you need? Well, it's hard to know. So, Swiss tool. I've added the lanyard. I think that's what these holes in the body of the Swiss tool are for. See that video. It's for a lanyard, so it's easier to pull out of the scabbard that it comes with. And, of course, if you've got a small ferro rod, why wouldn't you put that on there? Is it something you can scrape with this multi-tool? I don't think so, because the rope's too short. So you're going to have to do something to get it off of there, or scrape it with something secondary. Now, if you follow this channel, you know some things, and you know we have some problems. One of them is large knives. So something we've been having a hard time taking out of our pocket, maybe it's not an everyday carry, is the large Luzon. Yeah, it's large. For instance, here's the large Recon for comparison's sake. Large Luzon, large Recon. This is hard. Whoops. Yeah. Now this comes in extra large with a 5-inch blade, but even a 5-inch blade is not a 6-inch blade, so adding an inch just isn't going to make it that big. This Luzon is so fun. It's very easy to sharpen. It holds an edge decently. Surprisingly so, considering how much crap people talk about the steel. Heat treat's really nice. I think it's in the 58 to 60 Rockwell. It feels like it probably is because I sharpened it next to other knives with a similar Rockwell, and it takes an edge about the same. I'm using a different sharpening technique. You might want to see that video, but essentially you use a very high grit? No, very low grit. Say on your Aus 8 knives, 300, say. Stop at 300. So what you do if you really want the edge to look like this, but perform better than a polished edge does with these softer steels, you push the edge all the way to polish. Then you go back and you mess up the last millimeter of the edge with your 300 stone, and then strop it like it owes you money. And what you end up with is a super toothy edge that resists things like the Secure X scabbard, holds the edge much longer. So you get the polished look because you've got a tall bevel that's polished. Only the last little bit is a little bit messed up. You strop that like crazy to get back to the polished look, but you don't actually have a 1400 grit edge. You've got a 300 grit edge with attitude, and the attitude makes the difference. So large Luzon, this has really cemented for me that there was something that I wanted in my collection. I've been looking for years, a couple of years I've been looking into it, and I may have, with the help of a very good friend to the channel and my son's brother, it was good to see him in person. I can't express to you how great it was to see him in person, but I may have done a thing. Yes. Now, what is that thing? I don't even know if I'm ready to show you yet. So maybe this video won't get posted until after certain people have seen certain things. But, yeah. It's Big Knife Country here on the Survival Channel. Here it comes. Whoop. And it just keeps driving and driving and driving and driving. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Yeah. Okay. So what is that? It's basically a sub-hilt. But what does that mean? Well, it means a variety of things, not the least of which being that on this channel we have the largest folder that Cold Steel makes. And we have it right here. Whoa, it's hard to get in frame. We have it next to the smallest folder that Cold Steel makes. No forced perspective here. I mean, we could make it quite large. Look at that. That Recon is huge. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Yeah. Whoopsie. And so, that begs the question. And maybe I'm sort of asking you, and maybe I'm telling you. Do you change your everyday carry knife when you've got something as good as this in your pocket? And suddenly you have something as good as this in your pocket? Maybe. Maybe you take the... Gosh, I like everything about this lighter. It feels so good in the hand. You can still smell that leather. Maybe this is better. Or is it just different? I don't know, folks. But when we talk about heat on this channel, we're not just being dogmatic about every day means every day. Although every is every, like never and always. It's absolute language. So maybe you've got a daily carry. Maybe you've got a sometimes I put this stuff in my pockets. And maybe you've got an everyday carry. Am I really going to get to the point where every day means that? And then the other stuff just floats around it in an Etherean cloud of chaos and lunacy. Oh, I know you all want to see it. Largest Luzon they make, which is actually the second largest folder they make. Largest folder they make. Alright, let's line this up with the tails, and then we'll go through the frame because it's the only way to really do it. So there they are lined up. Just about like that. You ready? Here we go. Oh gosh, and the Ost head takes an edge. Yeah, buddy. So, from all of us to all of you, here we are. Didn't turn out to be a short video. I apologize. If 16 minutes is a short video to you, you've been watching Rogan. But what does EDC mean? Well, on this channel, EDC means EDC. But what does it mean to me? Well, it may mean multi-tool, belt, tactical project glasses, and maybe nothing else. In every way and on every day, we hope you have a fantastic 2025, and thank you for coming out. Stay sharp. We're coming right at you.